Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about the top 5 issues Republicans need to focus on if they want to win in 2022. If we focus on these issues, we focus on them effectively, we really could end up seeing a red wave like this in 2022. It is very well possible if we do focus on these issues. So the first issue we were going to talk about is crime. This is number 5 on the list. So the reason why this is so low is because Republicans have tried to focus on crime before, but they are just so incompetent when they focus on it. They focus on it in all the wrong areas. They focus on areas like Detroit and Philadelphia and Milwaukee and areas that'll never work, Atlanta. But Trump actually did try this area, and it ended up being effective. There were areas like Kenosha where Trump Trump effectively mentioned crime, and he was able to gain. Many expected Trump to lose Kenosha, but it ended up making a 1-point swing to the right, and he focused on crime a little bit in Miami, or in areas like Florida, to get the Hispanic vote out. Areas like Florida and southern Texas, crime definitely focusing on it definitely helped Trump in the 2020 election, and we definitely do need to focus on it to help flip states back like Arizona and Nevada. It's definitely something it'd be very effective if we were to focus on crime. We need to focus on funding law and order, and we need to focus on making sure the Second Amendment is protected and make sure it's never, ever infringed on the Second Amendment. So the next issue we're going to talk about is number 4 on the list. It is election integrity. So election integrity is going to be an issue we need to focus on, because you have tens of millions of Americans who think the previous election was compromised, and if we just ignore it, say, oh, it's just a conspiracy theory, that base is not going to turn out the base that believes it was rigged, and we need to actually do things about it. We need to pass voter ID, fix the ballot drop boxes. We need to ban universal mail-in. We need to ban ballot harvesting, a lot of things that really new proposals we need to focus on to get our base to turn out, have faith in our election so we can actually win, because we need to focus on gaining voters. Yes, we also need to focus on keeping our old base, and a lot of the people might not want to vote in 2022 if they do not believe their vote is going to be counted accurately. The third issue we are going to be talking about is education. So education is a pretty big issue. The administration's trying to push critical race theory, not necessarily the administration, but it's definitely a big issue coming to our schools. It's like majority of voters in Fairfax County, Virginia, which is like a D+50 county. It used to be a red county, now it's like D+50. They don't approve of critical race theory now. It's not you can see it's not a really popular policy to push this, to hate white people, saying we need to apologize for being white. It's not popular. Youngkin's focusing on it a lot. He's made the race very tight in Virginia. He's only down 2 points in Virginia. It's going to be a very interesting race in Virginia. I think he definitely does have a shot in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. We definitely need to hammer them on critical race theory. It's going to help in the suburbs. It's going to help in areas like Miami-Dade, the southern border, Las Vegas, Reno. I don't know. I think Reno's more white. And areas like Tucson, Arizona, there's a lot of votes we can gain there to flip back the Senate seat in Arizona, and hopefully gain the Senate seat in Nevada. And so the second issue we're going to be talking about is inflation. Now, inflation is a pretty big issue. This administration spent about $6 billion, I believe it has, on basically useless stuff. Some of it helps, like 600 stimulus checks, but that doesn't really do anything when you have to pay it back in taxes, and you just have the rest of this money. It's just going to foreign nations, giving out foreign aid. Why are we giving out foreign aid? And the American people, they're not going to know about it until they see what happens to prices all over. They're already seeing it with bread. I believe that's up, and then you have gas prices. Those are skyrocketing. They're $3.39 where I live, and you can say, oh, it's because of supply and demand. They're going to go down soon. We've had this gas crisis for 6 months. Don't you think the administration would have done something about it? No. If it wasn't, yeah, they could have fixed it. That's what I'm trying to say. So inflation, it affects a lot of people. It affects elderly people on a fixed income. Those are voters we could gain. A lot of them did not turn out for Trump because they did not like how he handled COVID. But they can't use COVID anymore. Now, COVID is starting to hurt the Democrats. We'll see if they can use that effectively. We'll see how it turns out. It's still very early in the new wave of COVID, but I mean, the pandemic is basically over. And something about education that I mentioned, that people don't want mask mandates for children, they don't want forced vaccinations. That's something we should definitely focus on. So the number one issue we need to focus on is immigration. So immigration is going to help because a lot of people don't realize this, but it actually affects everyone now. It was like, oh, it doesn't affect me because I don't live near the southern border. No, it affects everyone. It makes wages uh, just stay constant. It's not really going to boost wages. The working class really is not going to see any benefits by a lot of this mass migration. So you're probably not going to see an immigration moratorium because it's not really super popular policy. But I mean, immigration restriction is actually a really popular policy. I think it's like 70% of Americans support immigration restriction. I think this was a left-leaning poll actually that showed 70% support restricting immigration. Only like 23 want to more immigration. It's definitely a very encouraging sign we need to focus on, and people don't really like how they're coming in unchecked for this virus. People on the southern border, they're coming in unchecked. But I mean, the virus, it's basically over, so I kind of sound like a crazy libtard. Oh, but I mean, it's true. It's true. We do need to focus on that because I mean, yeah, we do, and it's definitely going to be something that could very well help. And I'm going to end it here. We need to focus on immigration restriction. That's going to help a lot in areas like states like Arizona, Nevada, Texas governor. But I mean, Abbott's already going to win by a safe margin. And issues like inflation that affect it would definitely help in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. We could definitely flip that back. And Sununu would basically, if he runs, he's basically guaranteed to win in New Hampshire. So we basically already have a 54-seat majority just by focusing on sort of like education. Talk about that in the Atlanta suburbs. You basically have a 54-seat majority right there. So it's something we could very well do if we focus on the correct issues. So I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.